hey, we have turkey season that's going on. We can't kill anything else. Nothing. We can't shoot a rabbit, a squirrel, nothing. That makes it tough.
It does from the harvest side for sure.
It does, but I mean, and one thing that I have a Facebook Messenger group that is for our team for OAC, and that was something we talked about yesterday. I said, we're here to have fun, and the money that we put in was purely for a good cause. The cause wasn't OAC, and Frank is awesome about that. I mean, I sent him the money that was $5 per shooter, and he sends me a receipt showing it where he turned around and he donated it immediately to a cause. It wasn't for OAC.
And that cause being Catch a Dream Foundation, I have to admit, because that's a foundation that the Drury Outdoors boys, and, well, I shouldn't say boys and girls, but Taylor Drury, Mark Drury, that whole crew, they do a lot for Catch a Dream Foundation, which that's how I found out about it. So that was the recipient this year, and I thank you, now that we're talking about it, I thank you for the willingness to do that, to become a sponsor, to put together a team, despite your state's, not you guys, your state's shortcomings on hunting seasons this time of the year.
Yeah, but you know what, with OAC, we don't have really any other excuses, because there's been plenty of target challenges that we haven't done, and I don't, right, wrong, or indifferent, all of us that are on there are married and have kids, and
that's right.
Some coach other things, and I told them when we put this team together, I said, bottom line is we're going to have fun. As long as everybody scores some points here and there, that's fine.
Yeah, do your best with it.
We really want to have fun, and we ran into some things. One of our staffers, Christina Jones, she is awesome.
Yeah, I've talked to Christina quite a few times because she's a coach also.
Yes, she is. She runs a JOAD program down in Wichita, Kansas.
That's right, yeah.
Christina had an accident a couple years ago, falling out of her van and just destroyed her wrist and forearm. It's full of pins and screws and all kinds of... So after it healed up and she went back to shooting, Christina has a daughter that has a form of autism, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. And one thing that they could really do together in common was archery. Well, Christina started shooting her bow again after she healed and started having a lot of pain in that arm. And some MRIs revealed that even though her bow had very, very minimal hand shock, the little bit of shock and vibration that it had was backing out the screws that were in her arm.
Wow.
So the doctor said, no more archery for you.
Wow.
And archery was such a huge part of Christina's life.
Yeah, I didn't know that I didn't know those details.
Yeah, so her coach, Ray Manfield, he is a funny guy. He shoots the senior pro class. Great guy. They learn for her to shoot with a mouth tab. Yep. So she changes to holding the bow with her right hand instead of her left hand, even though she's right-handed and right-eye dominant.
Yeah.
And she pulls the bow back with her mouth, which is a piece of cat leash.
Yep.
Sewn together. And she is a heck of a shot.
I know she is. She's also a heck of a coach. And I'll tell you, just to piggyback off of what you're saying about Christina, I had messaged her because I knew she shot with a mouth tab. And I have a young man that I started working with who has very, very, very limited use of his left arm. And he just started shooting, and I was talking to her about she went out of her way to show me how she made her mouth tab, where to put it, how to put it on, videos, tutorial, the whole bit with her coach. I believe it was her coach that was videoing her. She went above and beyond to help someone she's never met before, and knowing that there was potentially another young shooter that had to go through or is going through a similar situation. Now, this young fella, his name's Mikey. He this young lad is only, I think he's 10, 11 years old. He's learned to walk 3 times in his life. He obviously, when he was born, I think around 5 or 6 years old, he was playing with some friends in the backyard and was there on this big rock in their backyard. It's like a boulder, and the boulder cut loose and actually rolled over him. So he had to learn to walk and everything after that, and went through like I don't know how many surgeries, brain surgeries, everything, and now I think it was 2 years ago he was playing soccer and he broke his femur and had to learn to walk again. And he's still, he's in that recovery mode from that now. Started shooting, but, and not to get into too many details about Mikey, but we actually chose to not go with the mouth tab because there's some therapeutic side of shooting. He's actually a right hand, right eye dominant, but he's I taught him left-handed because his right hand is his good hand to hold the bow steady, and it had some good therapeutic as far as some kinetic awareness and gaining some control and strength back in that left arm and shoulder area, which is where he's the weakest. So he was able to kind of put it all together, and so we're going that route right now. But the mouth tab, from a competitive standpoint, might not be out of the question totally as he gets older. So, but Christina, man, she just, drop of the hat. Frank, what do you need? Tell me what you want to know, and I'll send you everything. And that's exactly what she did. I mean, it's just a testament to, the archery community, I think, and just how helpful the archery community can be, and I put emphasis on that because, there's just a little bit of a dark side to it.
Yeah, there is.
So, which kind of brings us, that might be a good segue into the topic that we want to actually discuss as far as this evening's podcast.
Yep, it is. So, things that Frank and I talk about a lot through Messenger is the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'm going to say, of the industry and of social media and what it does, good and bad, for the industry. So, most of the guys and gals that are in OAC, Online Archery Challenges, have heard of me, anyway, through OAC and even before that in Facebook groups and things. So, I own a bow shop, or did, kind of. So, I sold bows, worked on bows, built arrows, the whole 9 yards for several years. Now, when I have competed and have been what I'm going to call out east, which is in Frank's country, Ohio, Pennsylvania, out there, archery is 10 times bigger out there than it is here. You get into certain parts of Pennsylvania and Iowa, you could throw a rock and hit 3 bow shops. It's crazy.
It's a true story.
And you come to Nebraska, and if you eliminate the box stores, the Cabela's, Bass Pro, Shields, Gander Mountain, whatever you want to call it, Dick's, there is one full-time pro shop in Nebraska. There's another one that's close. He's open. He's open just about every day for about 5 or 6 hours. But that one pro shop that's open every day, I think, except Monday, is also the only one that has a true indoor range with a shop.
Wow.
So, so you want to put things in perspective for people. It doesn't go on out here like it does out east. That's a really good point, Andy. And I think another point is not just that, but archery clubs. I don't know, what's the archery club scene like? It's rough.
It's rough. So, in Pennsylvania. Now, I got to give a shout out to Rob Koffold because I live just over an hour away from Lancaster Archery Supply. And Lancaster does a ton, just for the sport in general, but, you know, in general, in Pennsylvania, though, they are definitely a hub of the archery world here, you know. So I'm you know, where I live, I run an S3DA program. I'm on the cusp of potentially going full-time archery shop and run OAC, and OAC is really my business, you know, and that's where the coaching, where my online coaching, where the competition, working with sponsors, all that stuff comes from. Yeah, but, you know, in locally, like, I'm just a small microcosm of what's really happening here, because we have bow shops out galore, we have archery clubs galore, we have archery shops with indoor ranges galore. Like, I can, from my house, I can travel less than an hour to probably a half a dozen or more shops that all have indoor ranges.
Yeah, and I don't have one shop within an hour radius of me that has a true indoor range.
But
we have.
Oh, go ahead.
All shops have, you know, 5-10 yards that you can, you know, blind bail into, paper tune, in whatever. Now we have, you know, we have one club here in Hastings where I live that has a really, really nice building, like really nice, like several $100,000 that was privately funded. And then 30 miles away, which is where I usually shoot, they just remodeled a building in the downtown area that's pretty nice that we shoot at. But otherwise, that's about it. Now, the one in Hastings here, it's like 15 minutes from my shop. It has some open shooting times, you know, at different points of the year where you can pay a fee to shoot, you know, so much per hour, depending on if you're shooting paper targets or targets. But if you wanted to walk in on a Tuesday at 3 in the afternoon and shoot, you're going to have to drive 2+ hours from where I live to do that.
Wow. So to further the thought, the original thought, both of us kind of got off on tangents there. Some of the discussions we had before we started recording, and believe it or not, I have 17 minutes left already in the podcast. That's it. So we gotta kind of get to the nitty gritty. How has social media, whether it's a bow shop here in Pennsylvania or a bow shop there in Nebraska, how has social media affected you?
Pretty largely. So, you know, I had a bow shop, and then I was a string builder. And, you know, you mesh the two together, and then you do what you can. Now, what happened is, as social media has grown, Facebook specifically, even Craigslist, you know, I don't see too many Instagram things of, you know, this bow for sale, this much money.
Yeah, right.
But Facebook, holy Lord, I guarantee you I'm a member of 100 archery groups, whether I asked to join or somebody just added me because of, you know, being involved in the industry. But Facebook has made my string company grow significantly. I've met a lot of great people, such as Frank. If it wasn't for Facebook, Frank, we probably wouldn't know each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, as well as a lot of my staffers, a lot of my customers. So we went from, you know, maybe shipping 50 sets a year, because everything else was local in our shop, to, I guarantee you, we ship 10 to 1 now. We ship 10 sets to every one that gets put on in the shop. Now, some of that is, as Facebook grew and all these archery groups came around, so did the used bow market.
Yeah.
You know, you used to be able to walk into shops 10 years ago, if there was a shop, you could walk in and buy last year's used bow for about $50, maybe $100 less than what this year's new model is. It was hanging right next to it.
Right.
If you walk into a shop today that does anything used, in Nebraska, very, very, I mean, we have minimal shops anyway. Most of them won't trade. most will put on consignment because the business isn't big enough. Yeah, I'm just going to be honest. If I take a bow,